Hi, welcome to Tinley Park Fire Station 47. My name is Chief Forrest Reeder, and I'm going to spend a few minutes walking you through the firehouse to show you some of the things that we built into our brand new firehouse. A little bit of background about the project and what we've done here is this station replaces the firehouse that was originally built a little over 40 years ago on this exact piece of property here. Over the years, the fire department's role has changed quite a bit, and we've grown into a large, fully staffed fire department. And unfortunately, the station as it was built no longer fit the needs of the current fire department. We didn't have enough adequate dorm space, we didn't have enough bathroom space, and we certainly didn't have enough space for the fire trucks and ambulances and the support vehicles that we needed to have. So through some great savings over a number of years, the village was able to put together our new fire station program here. So right now we're standing in the foyer. This is the main entrance to the station. Behind me on the wall here you see the images of three what we can call milestone images of the Tinley Park Fire Department. The fire department formed in 1901, and if you look at the image in the center, that's the first hand-drawn, or it could have been horse-drawn at the time, hose wagon that the village of Tinley Park had for its first fire engine. That actual piece of equipment right now is available over at the museum, so that can be looked at today over in the museum, so we're very proud to have that. And across the top of that image is the first motorized fire truck that the village of Tinley Park had, and that was purchased in the early 1930s, and that was an REO Speedwagon motor-driven pumper engine, and that was the first engine that we had motorized here in the village. Down at the bottom is the spare to 76. That is an aerial ladder truck, and that was the first really big significant piece of aerial apparatus that was purchased for the fire department back in 1976, and that serves us very, very well for almost 30 years here in the fire department. So we thought it a very fitting tribute to the history and traditions that we've had here in our great fire department over the years to feature those pieces of apparatus as kind of the focal point as we entered the station. So with that, let's take a walk inside the station. I'll show you some of the living spaces and some of the areas, and we'll talk a little bit about each of those as we go through the different parts of the firehouse. All right, our first stop here is to the radio room or the watch office that we have in the station here. This replaces a very, very small, literally a one-person room that we had in the old station. And you can see with the workstations here, the firefighters, the officers, and the paramedics who are going to work out of the station are going to be able to do their reports, their training that in part is hosted online, and some of those day-to-day operational things that we have. This is going to give us a lot more room for office supplies and some of the other materials that we didn't have at the other station, and we look forward to giving some room to have a professional office environment for the firefighters to do their training and their reporting with here. All right, now we're in the bunk room. The bunk room area here gives us a big increase in the number of bunks and the available sleeping space that we have for the firefighters who are going to be assigned here. Over my left-hand shoulder here, we have 6 identical bunk rooms, each of them set up with 1 bed, 1 desk area, and 3 lockers. Lockers obviously assigned to the firefighters who are going to be working the overnight shifts and things like that, and 1 additional bunk, which we'll take a look at in the office space a little bit later, which will be reserved for our shift commander or our battalion chief who is in charge of running the station for us. Eventually, again, since it's still a work in progress and we haven't quite finished up, each doorway will have a curtain for added privacy, as well as the blinds and the drapes that have to come, but a tremendous improvement as well as allowing for expansion. Staffing-wise, this firehouse will have 6 people on duty in the station 24 hours a day, some administrative personnel, the deputy chief, and others may be working out of this station as well. So we'll have 3 persons on the engine company, 2 people on the ambulance, and the battalion chief, giving us a total of 6. With 1 additional bunk space left over for us for future growth and opportunity to continue to grow into the station. All the bathrooms here, and there are 3 of them, they are unisex bathrooms, and they were built to be what we call hotel style, where there's a shower, the toilet, the sink, changing area, and everything built into each of the bathrooms there, so everybody can have a little bit of privacy as they go through changing in and out of their uniforms, washing up after a fire or an emergency run or things like that, to give them the privacy that we didn't have in the other station that I'm sure the firefighters are certainly going to enjoy in this firehouse. What you're looking at now is the station logo. About 15 years ago, each of the schools in the 4 different areas that our stations are at were given a great opportunity to help us design the logo for the fire station that covered that particular area. Station 47, which is our north side station here, is closest to Grissom, and Grissom's mascot is the Patriots. So what the students at the school, with the help of the art department as well as some of the fire department personnel, put together was this great logo representing the Grissom Patriots, as well as Engine and Tower 47, and just the station logo that we have here for the companies that are assigned here. We're inside one of the bunk rooms now. All of them look identical to each other. This one here happens to be the lieutenant's and the captain's office and bunk room for the station here. They've got a computer workstation. They've got access to a phone in case dispatch or one of the other stations needs to get a hold of them. Each one has got a bed, obviously, for the firefighters' use during their shift. And each the bunks has got 3 independent lockers, one locker area set for their uniforms and shaving equipment and things like that they have, as well as the top part of it, which is set up for the firefighters' bedding, pillows and blankets and sheets and things that they have to have across the tops. Okay, we're in the kitchen and the day room, and in any firehouse, anybody who works in a firehouse will tell you that this is maybe the most important room that we have in a fire station. One of the important things to understand about firehouse life compared to that of what you might have at home or in any other type of business is that this building has 24-hour occupancy, and because of that, all of the appliances, all of the surfaces and things like that had to be engineered and built to give us a long life, return on any of the products that we have inside here. We have commercial grade appliances in that because, again, the difference is there's people who are in and out of the refrigerator 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, compared to what you might have at home, where people get up, they have their breakfast, they close the refrigerator, leave for work for the day, and they don't come back into it until later in the afternoon. So it's important for us to make sure that we've got appliances and things like that are made for the wear and tear of 24-hour occupancy. Same thing for the cabinets, all of the solid surfaces, the countertops and everything that we have inside here. Those were all designed and built to last hopefully 10 years before we have any real maintenance issues. We could have gone with a laminated type of a quality product or things like that, but we thought the best investment for the community and the fire department here was to have durable, solid surfaces here to make sure that because of the 24-hour use that each of these rooms doesn't get beaten down and worn in just a short period of time. So what we'll have in this room is we've got 2 refrigerators in the freezer, again for the needs of the on-duty crews and things like that. You can see the first countertop area and the food preparation area, as well as the rest of the other areas. All of the appliances in that were purchased with the assistance of our Foreign Fire Tax Board, which is a state-regulated fund that helps us purchase some of those things outside of the regular budgetary requirements of the village in that. In this area where I'm standing now, this is where we'll have a couple recliners for the firefighters in the off hours and things like that to relax, watch a little bit of TV, work on their phones and iPads and things like that as they go through the course of the day while they prepare and stay ready to respond to emergencies. Over in the corner, and that'll be the next room that we're going to go to, is our fitness center. Health and fitness, very important to the fire department and our ability to do our jobs, and again, through purchases from our Firefighters Association and our Foreign Fire Insurance Board, we're going to have a very well equipped aerobic as well as a free weight and exercise area that we'll have set aside, different from what we had in the previous station. This room will be filled with the fitness equipment to keep the firefighters in shape as part of their regular daily routines here. Again, going from what we had in the old firehouse, this is going to be a tremendous improvement for the firefighters and probably a great enticement to get some little better quality workouts in than we ever did before. Old firehouse stuck between 2 fire trucks. Now we've got a great fitness center that we can tie together all the different functional capacity work and job skills training that we have our firefighters do to make sure that they're ready to answer the calls that we respond to. Yeah, we're down in the basement now. This is something that's unique to the 4 fire stations that we have here in Tinley Park. This is the only one with a basement. What this is going to give us the ability to do is we're going to be able to use half the basement over on this side here for storage. There'll be a series of lockers and cages, shelves and things like that where we'll be able to store all of our second sets of firefighting gear that we have, all of the records and reports that we have to archive during the course of a year and things like that, as well as all the other storage needs that we have for the fire department that we typically haven't had room over the past here. This side of the room, as you can see the difference in the ceilings and things like that, this side here is eventually built that if the fire department or the village decides that we want to build a community room or a classroom down here, this features an outside exit with an elevator over on one side as well as the stairwell over on this side over here to allow for people to come and go into the station without going through the firehouse portion of the building to interrupt the crews who would be doing different things during the course of the day. So that was built with an outside access to this particular part of the building. So in the upcoming years, if we find the need to do that, we can go ahead and build that. There's all the heating, ventilation, air conditioning equipment down here, the mechanical room for the elevator here, as well as all of the IT equipment that, again, run the brains of the electronics of the security, the station alerting, and all of the other systems that we have in the firehouse. All right, we're in the fire station part, and kind of one of the things that we like to joke about a little bit is that there's a fire station and a firehouse. What I've shown you so far with the living quarters and the bunk rooms and things like that, where the house part where the firefighters live the 24 hours a day, this is the fire station part of it. And what's been great about the building of this station here is this is going to give us some room for additional apparatus and a different equipment to be placed into the station a little bit further down the road. We've got a real high ceiling here that we've got in the station, and again what that allows us to do is when the apparatus is in the station here, the engines and the area ladders, we'll be able to tilt the cab to check the fluids and to do some of the maintenance that we have inside the station. We'll actually even be able to unbed the area ladder to do some of the maintenance that before we either had to pull outside even during inclement weather when it had to be done, it still had to be done. Now we're able to do that type of work inside the station. Additionally, one of the other things that was really important to us in the design of the station was the health and safety of our firefighters. So what we built into this part of the fire station to separate it from the firehouse is we have a state-of-the-art exhaust removal system here so that at any time the ignition for any of our vehicles is turned on, up on the ceiling up here we have 5 air handlers or exhaust machines up on the top there that are going to immediately turn on, and we can immediately start to take the harmful diesel and gasoline engine emissions that are emitted from our vehicles and remove them from the station to make sure that our firefighters aren't constantly subject to hazardous gases. The floor obviously non-slip, great set of lighting inside here as you can tell because it's an empty room right now. The sound is excellent in terms of being able to hear our dispatch and our radio transmissions and things like that. So I'll real quickly just kind of show you a couple of the other features and things that we have in the station. At all of our stations, you can see up here by the overhead doors, there's an LED scroll board that you can see up at the top of each of the exit doors for the station. And what we have at each of these different positions here is when we're dispatched to an emergency, the address and any of the call information that we have scrolls across each of those boards that we have at the station so that our members can see each of the addresses that we have to go to. A series of red lights sits to the left side of each of the doors there. The red lights indicate that the door is closed or not fully open. Once the door is fully open, that light changes to green. Unfortunately, with the size and the type of vehicles that we run, you can't sit inside like you could a car at home and be able to see when a door is completely up and out of the way. So we've got that light system in place for our engineers and our driver operators to be able to look to the light to make sure that the door has completely cleared the threshold up at the top. So that's an important safety feature that we've now integrated into all of our stations. Now coming back over to the side over here again, as part of our cancer prevention initiatives and our health and safety program, all of the dirty parts of what we do in our job, again, we've moved as far away from the living areas and the firehouse part, allowing the fire station equipment to be furthest away from them. The first room that you see over on the left is our self-contained breathing apparatus, or our air pack room. That houses our air compressor to refill the air cylinders after the firefighters use them during training or after an emergency. The center room is the laundry and the support room over there. Typically the day-to-day washing of towels and linens and things like that, uniforms would take place inside there. But also inside there is an extractor, a heavy-duty piece of equipment that we utilize to wash the firefighters' gear to get all the harmful carcinogens and things out of their gear. And then last but not least, you can see the cages over on the side over there. That's actually where the firefighters' gear is going to be stored inside the station there. That funny looking thing on the wall over there, the pegs, that's our horizontal hose drying rack. Many of the other firehouses, or I'm sorry, all the other firehouses have got a little bit of a tower area where after fire hose gets wet and gets washed, we hang it up in the tower by a series of chains and pulleys and things like that. But because we didn't want to have that type of a feature into the station here, this one here, the hose is going to play itself back and forth and run back and forth in there and just air dry out in the station area over there. A couple last things to look at outside here. We have a large mezzanine area that we have up above, again for some additional storage. One of the unique things that we have for this building to protect our crew is we do have a tornado shelter, which is inside the public bathroom over there, and that's going to allow us to make sure that our crew is safe in the event of hostile weather that comes through, which is required by the building code now. So as we start to staff it here, we'll have an ambulance, we'll have an engine company, we'll have our shift commander, we'll have our reserve aerial ladder, our fire investigation unit, and we'll still have room for our additional reserve apparatus so that, again, this empty room will be filled with the tools and the equipment that we utilize to do our job in protecting the lives and the property of our community. So we're very, very proud about how this turned out for us here. What we're looking at right now is what eventually will become our wall of honor, which is going to memorialize all of the firefighters who have served with the Tinley Park Fire Department. We'll have a series of plaques, a really nice set of words and inscriptions that are going to be in the top of the arch. And then additionally, as you can see, the 3 sets of the older style bricks inside. Those were bricks that were salvaged from the original Station 2 as it was built. And we thought it very, very important to leave a little bit of the old station in the construction of the new station here. So as we build in our memorial, we'll have plaques going across the top of the inside of the memorial as part of the fundraiser that we're going to be doing with our Firefighters Association to get that done. We'll have the names of all the 650 firefighters who have served since 1901 with the fire department, as well as allowing us to honor the gateway for the people who are going to serve further down the road here. So we're very proud to be able to have this ability in the future to grow into a memorial to honor those who have served before, those who currently serve, and then those who are going to serve in the future. All right, thank you very much for spending a little bit of time touring Fire Station 47 with us. We're very, very excited for what this station is going to bring to the community. We believe it's a beautiful building that's built to last for many, many decades of service here in the community here. My personal thanks on behalf of the 100 members of the fire department for everybody, elected official-wise, village officials, all of our staff members who have showed tremendous support and foresight in not only the purchase of the additional land needed to build for this over the past number of years to get this station ready, but for giving us the ability to design a station that, again, fits not just the needs of today, but the needs of the future for the Tinley Park Fire Department. It's a great station. It's going to allow us to do great things for the community. We hope you've enjoyed a look inside the station here, and we look forward to serving out of here very soon. Thanks.